You're about to get 5 powerful secrets, 5, to leverage pandemic times into massive opportunities and prepare for the future. We are not going to profit. We're not profiting from the pandemic times. We're not those people that, oh, are we going to import some mask and then try to jack up the price and hand sanitizers and try to flip them on e-commerce? Well, shame on those people. They're not adding any value except making people's lives more miserable. We don't need to do that. There's so much abundance out there that we don't need to do that. But what we are going to do is to take advantage of a trend to profit during the pandemic. Does that make sense? Do you see the distinction? Right? There's a distinction. Secret number 1, how the wealth triangle has helped me crisis-proof my finances. And I underline crisis-proof because is there a difference between recession-proof versus crisis-proof or pandemic-proof? Could there be a business or a profession, a job that may be recession-proof, but is actually not crisis-proof? Yes? So how the wealth triangle has helped me do that. As Dave talked about, I was born in Hong Kong. That's my dad, that's my mom right in the middle. That's me with the little red suit. So I was born in Hong Kong. I immigrated to Vancouver, Canada when I was 14 years old. And shortly after that, my mom and dad got divorced after we moved to Vancouver when I was 16 years old. And as the only child in my family, if you could imagine going to a country where you don't speak the language. English is not my first language. In fact, English is not even my second language. It's my third language. So growing up, I didn't have a lot of confidence. I wasn't one of those people that was destined for greatness. Said, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to accomplish all these big things. And no, I wasn't one of those people. And I wasn't one of those people that had a good education, that had a good resume. In fact, yes, I dropped out of college and I never, ever went to university. And I wasn't one of those people that know all the right people in all the right places, because imagine if you go to a new country where you don't know anybody, you don't know anybody. So I didn't have any contacts, and contacts are not something that you have. Contacts are something that you get anyway. So I didn't know anybody, and I wasn't particularly good as a student. I was basically a C student, or sometimes a D student, and I was incredibly shy. And when I share this with people, very often they don't believe what I say, because there's no way that Dan, you're on social media, you're being interviewed, and you speak to so many people, that you were shy, kind of a teenager. I said, yeah, that was me. That photo was taken during prom night, and that was my English teacher. And during prom night, I had no date. I guess I had no friends. And my English teacher felt so bad for me, she volunteered to be my date. Otherwise, I would have no one to go with. And that's what was me. Now, how many of you could tell that's a pretty introvert kind of guy, right? And I was very shy. Even today, I see myself as more like an ambivert, meaning that I'm actually introvert in nature, but I could be extrovert when I'm comfortable with, if necessary, that I could. So, but most of the time, I could just be on my own and do my own thing, and don't want any interruption or anyone bothering me, kind of in my own little world, like doing my own thing. And I remember that I said to myself, you know what? I don't think this is working for me. I don't think this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be more. So then I joined Toastmasters. How many of you have heard of Toastmasters? Put in the chat. You could see the little name tag on my shirt. The time I had the spiky hair. Probably when I met Dave, that's kind of roughly what I look like, I believe. With their little glasses, with the spiky hair, and really just learning the language and wanting to improve myself, wanting to improve myself. And I wanted to take care of my mom because my mom sacrificed so much for me. So at an early age, I was determined, especially after the divorce. And shortly after the divorce, in fact, when I was 17 years old, my dad filed for bankruptcy. He lost all his money. His partner in Hong Kong basically took advantage of him and had him sign on everything, all the dots, and took all the money and left my dad with over $1 million. We're talking about back in the days, over $1 million US in debt. And that devastated him. And my dad never, ever recovered from that. He was never the same man. He was never the same man. And I thought to myself, I needed to take care of my mom. I needed to take care of my mom. So I became an entrepreneur because I know I couldn't provide for my mom if I was just to get a minimum wage job. I wanted to be able to provide for her. How many of you want to provide for your family, to take care of your family, especially in times like these? That everything that you're doing now, the business that you're starting, the career you're starting, you're doing it not just for yourself, but you want to provide, not just provide, but protect your loved ones to prepare for times like these. Started my first business when I was in high school. And just like most young kids, I chose to start a business with very little capital and just mowing lawns, kind of like a landscaper for people. And that was my very first business. And that business was fine, except we didn't make any money. Except we didn't make any money because I didn't know how business works. And from there on and off, I would start another business and it would fail. We tried the vending machine business and we tried to deliver the delivering business. We tried to fix computers for people. And I was just all over the place as a young guy, had all these ambition, I had all this drive, didn't know what I was doing, had no direction at all. But I had the drive. I kept coming up with these ideas and none of them worked. And I was borrowing money from friends, family, just to survive, just to pay the bills. And I was embarrassed when no one would take our call, right? I was so sad when my mom and I we had to, go to the grocery, go to the supermarket, and the only asset that I had at the time I had was this white Ford Escort sedan with 150,000 miles on it. And I bought that from my aunt, my mom's friend, for $2,500. And my mom and I would go to the supermarket in this car. And in fact, you can't see from the photo, but the right hand side, the passenger door doesn't open. So every single time when we go, my mom had to actually go from the driver's seat, kind of leap over and get in and out that way. And we go to a local supermarket, and every single time we go, we would head directly to the section where they have all these discounted veggies and fruit and things like that. That's because that's all we could afford. That's all we could afford. And at the time, just like most people, I read a lot of books, a lot of motivational books, success books, Think and Grow Rich, and How to Win Friends and Influence People. How many have read some of those books? Put in the chat. Yes, right. Problem was there was a lot of thinking. There wasn't a whole lot of reaching for me. And even I read how to win friends and influence people. Well, I didn't have any friends left to influence because no one would talk to me. And I couldn't influence them to loan me more money. So that didn't work so well either. I was what you would call a junkie, not a drug junkie, but a business junkie. In fact, a business opportunity junkie that I try MLM, I try all kinds of stuff. In fact, let me ask you this question. How many have tried some of these things in the past? MLM, Amazon, affiliate marketing, e-commerce, and ebooks, and info products, and product launch, and membership sites, and mobile apps, and SEO, maybe add on the cryptocurrency. We tried some of these things in the past. And you say to yourself, like, damn, there must be an easier way to hit my financial goals. And I was in the same shoes. And that's what I was going through. I was kind of like this old lady here. Oh dear, this Nigerian prince needs help, and it looks like I can make a few dollars too. I was that person. I thought anything that if I could make a buck, because I was desperate, that I needed to provide for my mom, that I hate to see my mom suffer. I just couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it as the only child, and I said to myself, I gotta do something about it. Then learn something incredibly profound. Now, what I'm about to share with you, once you understand, you will never look at your finance the same way again. It would give you tremendous clarity exactly where you are and what you need to focus on. It would also be a wake up call for some why some of these things that you tried in the past didn't work for you. Not that you were doing anything wrong, it's in terms of sequence. How many would agree if we don't do the right thing at the right time, sometimes things just don't work out, right? And that's when I discovered the wealth triangle. It has changed my life. So, would it be helpful if I walk you through it and explain to you each component of it? Okay, so take notes. So, there are three parts to the wealth triangle. The first part is what I call high income skills. High income skills. Now, what I mean by high income skills, I'm not talking about high income job, I'm talking about a high income skill. And I define high income skill as it is a skill set that you could potentially earn $10,000 or more per month. Basically, a six-figure income, a high income skill. With a high income skill, you are trading hours for dollars, but you're trading hours for high dollars. You're turning what you know, your expertise, your time, your effort into high income, a high income skill. Now, how is a high income skill different from a high income job? That's very key. Write this down. A high income job, you're dictated by how much you earn is dictated by a company, by your supervisor, by a manager. A high income skill, on the other hand, the only thing that determines how much you earn is the marketplace and your ability to deliver value to the marketplace. Does this make sense? High income skill. And the second part of it is what I call scalable business. Not just any business, and definitely not a retail business. I'm talking about a scalable business, a business that you could scale without adding a whole lot of cost, that you can scale your cash flow, you can scale your profits without a massive amount of investment. Example, take what's happening out there now, a, a restaurant. If a restaurant owner wants to open up another location, what does he or she needs, right? They need to find a location, right? They need to sign a lease, don't they? They need to renovate, put in a lot of money, hire all the people to open up a location. So every single time they want to add more revenue, they need to invest a lot of money upfront in order to create that revenue. You with me, right? You got that. Scalable business. And the third component is what I call high return investment. High return investment. And I define high return investments as investment that would produce an annual return of 10% or more year in and year out. And the investment aspect, of course, Dave teaches a lot of that. Now, why is this so critical? Because my whole life, I was struggling. I was wasting money because I spent all my time focusing on trying to not even doing, trying to start a scalable business when I didn't have a high income skills. High income skills is your foundation to wealth. A high income skill provides you with peace of mind, comfort, and income. And income is king. Without income, you cannot create wealth. And a scalable business provides you with cash flow. Cash flow. And a high return investment builds your net worth. Wealthy people, we talk about net worth, income, cash flow, and net worth. And the biggest mistake that most people make is they attempt to get into high return investment. Oh, I'm going to buy this piece of property, right? With no money down. Now, how many of you recognize it's not as easy as it seems? And even though you do buy that piece of property, problem is you can't eat brick. You can't eat brick. You're building a net worth, but in the meantime, how are you going to create income? By the time you pay the mortgage, you do all that stuff, how much is left for you to pay for your living expenses? And how are you going to scale a business with no income? Even if business is working, you've got a model that's working, what are you going to do? So a lot of people, they skip the steps. They don't understand that there's an order to these things, that we need the high income skills first. Make the money, generate income, put that into your scalable business if that's what you want to do. And you don't necessarily have to have a scalable business to be wealthy, by the way. You do need to have investments to be wealthy. And then it becomes a very positive cycle. Is this making sense, by the way? Does this give you more clarity of looking back, think about some of the decisions, business or financial decisions that you made in the past, what that was like, what are some of the things that worked and what are some of the things that didn't work? So then I asked myself the one question that changed my life forever. I asked myself the question, what is the one high income skill that I could develop today, that will free me from financial struggles and worries forever? That was it. Write this down. What is the one high income skill I could develop today that will free me from financial struggles and worries forever? And I never looked back. I developed my first high income skill, which was copywriting. And I developed my second high income skill, which was consulting. And then my third high income skill, and fourth and fifth. And now I have a group of skill sets that I've developed over the years, and apply, and here's the key, apply those skill sets into my scalable businesses. And now we have a portfolio of companies. I apply those skill sets into my investments. I'm an active investor. I'm very hands-on, everything I invest in. I want to apply my skill sets to that so that I could improve the return on investment, anything that you want to put into. And fast forward today, when I made a decision that I'm going to focus on high income skills, that's my ticket to freedom. That's my ticket to financial success. And today, my company, we've grown to a significant company. I'm a member of the Young President Organization. And to even qualify to be in YPO, First requirement, you have to have at least 50 regular full-time employees. Or requirement B is the company must, if it's in sales and service and manufacturing, must have an annual revenue of over $13 million in USD, or it's a financial institutions managing assets over 260 million, of an agency type business in terms of billing and fees annually over 10 million USD. And Mr. Jim Patterson, he was a member of YPO for many, many years. And you got to hit all of that before the age of 45. And recently, and I'm honored to be awarded the prestigious Business Elite's 40 Under 40 Award as one of the most successful and ambitious young business leaders in North America. And my posts and videos and articles have been viewed more than 1.7 billion times across the social media platform. One single video, as you can see there, a motivational and inspirational video, one single video has been viewed more than 17 million times. And recently I've published a book with Forbes Books, my new book that I talked about, The Skill Economy, last year that came out. But it's not just success and all these things. Over the years, I think I've learned that I was not just creating success for myself and for my family, but I'm in a position that I could focus on significance, that I could give back, that I could do what I want, where money is no concern, not a concern. Able to give back to Children's Hospital is one of the donations that we made last year, fraction of what we donated. And of course, my wife, Jenny, that we've been together for 12 years now, and she is the backbone of my success, to be able to share everything I do with her, my best friend, my soulmate, my lover. I'm very grateful every day of what I've accomplished. So imagine that young, poor immigrant boy who couldn't speak a word of English, who was bullied in school, flung English twice when I was in high school, had no confidence, had no friends, had no directions. And fast forward today, from that $2,500 lemon to a Bentley. In fact, recently, I was able to buy back the exact model that I had, the Ford Escort, white Ford Escort, from another seller. It was very difficult to find. And I bought it, I put it in my garage, and I had a license plate, locked first, to remind myself where I came from and how far I've come. I'm sharing this with you not to impress, and I don't care about that. But I want to share with you because I want to demonstrate that I practice what I preach and I use what I teach. Every single thing that I share with you because I've done. Because I've done. And high income skills have changed my life. Have changed my life. In what way? What transformed my life is because I have dedicated myself and my life to develop the one single skill that I believe it is the most important skill that anyone can develop, especially during this pandemic, being a high ticket closer. You may be wondering, well, Dan, what is that? What is closing? What is high ticket closing? I will get into all of that, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. Everything that you want in life, think about it. Everything you ever want in life, other people already have them. Wealth is not created. Wealth is simply transferred. Write this down. Wealth is simply transferred. Doesn't matter what it is that you want in life: money, context, status, resources, romance, happiness, fulfillment, you name it. As an investor, if you want to raise capital, do you need to talk to other people? Do you need to persuade and convince them to invest with you? If you're talking to a seller, a motivated seller, in order for them to sell you the property, to sell you the deal at a price that you want, do you need to communicate? Do you need to close them? Yes or no? Everything you want in life, other people already have them. What we need to do is to develop the skill and the ability to close them, to articulate why they should do something, why they should do business with us. Imagine a father and a child. The child asks the dad, "Hey, dad, can we just have candy for dinner tonight?" And then you say, "No, no, 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 no." Even though you wanted that candy too, but you say, "No, no, 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 son, no. You're gonna have to eat healthy. You have to eat your healthy veggies." And then they say, "Well, but why? I don't like veggies. They don't taste as good as candy." And I said, "Well, son, when you grow up, I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy, right? And as you grow up, as I grow up, I want to be there for you, and I want to be healthy and happy and healthy too. So, and that means that sometimes we have to eat food that's healthy, like vegetables, in order to feel good. And of course, from time to time, after dinner, from time to time, we can eat a little candy for dessert." And the child says, "Well, okay, that makes sense, Dad. Now, what do you call that?" Put in the chat. What do you call that? You could call that whatever you want. I call that closing because that's the easiest way to describe it. Closing is you do something to help someone. Anything that you put it out there, anytime you try to convince someone to say yes to something that they want to say yes to, I call that closing. You could call that helping somebody and getting paid for it. You could call that serving someone else's needs and having them exchange money that's less to them in value than what they got in return for that service. But I think it doesn't sound as good as closing. I like to think of it's closing. And all my wealth, all my success, all my fulfillments comes from my ability to close. If you think about someone who's single, what does that mean? It means that maybe they need some closing skills in the area of relationship, in the area of finance, in any areas, in anything that we want. And besides high income skill, what we've learned over the years, what I've learned over the years, is that the concept of financial freedom is obsolete. Okay, okay. Dan, I'm with you so far. I get it. Making sense. I love the wealth triangle concept, but financial freedom's obsolete. You're losing me here. It is obsolete. And I'll tell you why it's obsolete. Because look at what's happening right now. Do you think people are thinking about financial freedom? Or they're thinking about financial survival? Put in the chat. The people who were free before, maybe they aren't so free now. Maybe they had some kind of investments that were providing income for them. But now that investments no longer are providing that income. So what I realize is just because you're free today doesn't mean that you are free tomorrow. Does that make sense? And myself, I've gone through ups and downs in my career. It's not smooth sailing. Lots of ups and downs. I've made bad investment. And I notice when something happens, when I made a bad investment, suddenly I'm less free. I'm not as free as I wanted to be. And you could see now, even now today, you can see from the news, companies generating billions of dollars could go bankrupt like that. So what I realize is, and write this down, that financial freedom is not all it cracks up to be. So instead of aiming for financial freedom, what should you aim for? I say instead of aiming for financial freedom, what we should aim for, if we're smart, is aiming for financial confidence. Financial confidence, developing the skills and the confidence and the ability to make money, to generate income on demand. So it doesn't matter what happens in the economy. It doesn't matter if you lose everything tomorrow. It doesn't matter what happens to your job, because you know you can make it back, and you know you could generate that income where money's no concern. That's true stability. Wouldn't you agree? That's true freedom. And that's true security. You're not relying on a third party. You're not even relying on an investment. And absolutely, you're not relying on the government. How many of you would agree that maybe the government could help certain businesses with the rent relief, the different packages that they come up with, maybe this time for a percentage of the businesses? So here's the question. So tell me, here's the question. Put in the chat. Could they do it a second time? Could they do it a third time? So now, as we speak, the Canadian government is thinking of reopening the businesses slowly in May. Just what if the virus comes back in fall? And what if there's another lockdown? What happens to people's businesses? What happens to people's job? Put in the chat. So could you see why, instead of aiming for financial freedom, but aiming for financial confidence, that's real. That is real. And besides the coronavirus, one thing that people don't look at and don't think about, and I talked about this already last year in my book, half of Canadian jobs will be impacted by automation in the next 10 years. If not the coronavirus, robots, artificial intelligence will replace most people's jobs. So what people are doing is they're studying for a career that may or may not exist in a few years. There's nothing to do with them. It's not their fault. The school system is simply not equipped to pass on, to transfer skills that are sustainable, that are scalable, because the school system is archaic, it's out of date. They're still trying to adapt, they're trying to find out what is going on. They don't know what to do. You with me? They don't know what to do. There will be more jobs in the future, not less, but the skills required are going to change significantly. So one of the smart things to think about, for you to ponder, is not just what's one skill that will free you from financial struggles and worries forever. What is the one skill that cannot and will not be replaced by freaking robots? Is that a good idea? Is that an intelligent thing to think about? What is the one skill, the one thing you could do to generate income that will not and cannot be replaced by robots? Anything that's repetitive will be replaced. Most of the lower, what I call the lower level skills will be replaced. And one of the things you have to think about, and I'm going off the slide here. Can we just go off a slide for just two minutes here? Yes? Because I want to give you a bonus insight. Think about the companies who survive after this pandemic. Think about those companies. Think about the fast food industry. Let's take fast food example. Okay. Starbucks, McDonald's, all of them. Because of this, they shut down for a period of time. They couldn't serve. Even though some of them still have drive-through and all that, but that affected them tremendously. And before this whole thing, they were already developing what I call self-serving kiosk. You see this in McDonald's, don't you? Right? So if you are McDonald's, if you are KFC, any industry, After this whole thing is over, do you think you are less motivated or more motivated to automate the entire operation? Do you still want a lot of people to be working in the business, or would you be saying that, hey, you know what? How can we automate this so people can buy the food that they want, maybe through drive-through, maybe through delivery, that we don't need as many people, as many cashiers, as many chefs working, because robots don't get disease. Robots don't need time off, and robots don't need overtime. Just think about if you run that company, what would you do? Do you now have the incentive of, okay, here we go. That's what we're going to do. So when that happens across all the sectors, all the industries, just think about how would that affect people's jobs. Isn't this logical? When I explain it, you could see this is what's happening. And you don't have to like it. I don't have to like it. It doesn't matter if we like it or not. We can't argue with what's happening. The only thing that we could control, any outsider that we can control, but the only thing that we could control is how we respond and prepare and preserve what we have. And if done right, we can take advantage of the trend and see where there's a need in the marketplace, something that we could utilize, something that we could leverage to be able to still achieve our financial goals, to still have the freedom and being able to take care of our family and loved ones. You with me? Does that make sense? And realize that you don't have an income problem, you have a skill problem. For most people, it is not that they are not working hard, it is not that they don't have a certain skill set. It is the skill set that they had is no longer relevant to what the marketplace needs. It's no longer relevant. Doesn't matter they've been doing it. That doesn't 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter how long we've been doing it. So you don't have an income problem, you have a skill problem, because it is, write this down, it is the skill that pays the bills. It's no longer the job that pays the bills. You could see it already. You've come to that conclusion. If people are still thinking about job security, they are dreaming. They're not waking up. They are not waking up. Does that make sense? Secret number 2. Why high-ticket closing, I believe, is one of the most high-paying and most in-demand professions in the world, especially during economic downturn. Especially. And I'll prove to you why. Have you noticed your average business right now, they desperately need high quality of customers. They need more revenue, don't they? And the marketplace is more competitive than ever. A lot of noise. They're competing with the news. Advertising costs today compared to 10 years ago. Is it up or is it down? So the old days, I remember when I was getting started on the internet, the old days, we could put together a simple website, put it online, and we could generate money like that. Those days are over, right? Most of the things that you see now on the online that's being sold today that are, let's say, under $200, they are simply designed to get a customer to try the product, to try the service, to try the brand, to break their wallet out, right? To try the bit and start doing business with whatever brand that they want to do business with. The real money, write it down, the real money is after the first $200 is exchanged. That's when these companies and entrepreneurs realize, okay, we've got their attention, we've earned their trust, we need to earn their trust, and we need to follow up with them specifically to offer them products and services that are what I call higher value. It could be between $3,000 to $25,000, or even $50,000, even $100,000 plus. I call these, write this down, high ticket offers. And it's virtually impossible to close these high ticket sales, high ticket offers just on the internet with a post, with a tweet, with an Instagram photo. These high ticket offers, they need to be closed on the phone. Think about the things that you do. Think about the people that you care about, right? We want to connect with them. We want to talk to them. Any major decisions. Think about even major decisions that you make. Okay, then you may be thinking, okay, Dan, I got it. So what does that have to do with me? That's where you come in. Because all these business leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, they spend a fortune every month generating leads, converting those leads, running webinars, doing email follow, making videos, doing all these things, publishing content. But understand that they don't make the real money until a high ticket closer gets on the phone and closes these high ticket offers for them. And they are happy to pay you 10 to 15% commission when you can do that for them. You can be the rainmaker. What it means is, it means that you can make an incredible income without ever creating a single product, running a single ad, cold calling a single person, creating a single article, or even investing a single dollar. Who likes that idea? That you could put yourself in a position that you take zero risk and yet to be able to generate an incredible income without a whole lot of investments, without a whole lot of risk. I want you to imagine you are running a relay race with Usain Bolt. He's running the first 399 meters and he's handing you the baton, okay? And you're running the last meter. So if we are raising any other teams and Usain Bolt hands off that to you at the end and you take that one step, here's the question: are you part of the winning team? Even though he's done 99% of the work and you do that 1%, who gets all the glory? Who gets all the fame? Who gets all the applause? The person who crossed the finish line. Now, here's another way to look at this. Does anyone win the race if you don't cross the finish line? So here's what's happening online. Here's what's happening in the business world. So many business owners, they're spending so much time and focusing so much of the effort to get to the race, to train for the race, to condition for the race, to start running the race. And they get all the way to the end and then they get tired. They are exhausted and they don't know what to do before they cross the finish line. And this isn't just one or two people. We're talking about this is going from a small business owner to major Fortune 500 companies. I know that because some of them are clients. And that's why they need you. Write this down. Whoever can make it rain controls the game. Whoever can make it rain controls the game. Well, but Dan, like, are you asking me, like, I don't want to be a sleazy salesperson and things like that? Put in the chat. Whenever you think of a salesperson, what comes to mind? What word comes to mind? Slimy, salesy, snake oil, right? Dishonest. They don't care about you. They just care about your money. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Imagine someone, it's a situation. You're knocking door to door, okay? And you're a typical salesperson. And you knock on people's door and say, "Hey, I got a fire extinguisher here. You want to buy it?" You're knocking on people's door. You're interrupting the neighbors, right? Maybe they just put the baby down. They're having dinner. And now the baby's awake, right? Or they're on the phone call with somebody. You've interrupted them. That's what I call cold calling. Write it down. That's called cold calling. You're knocking on every single door, hoping that you can find somebody to put a fire out in their house, or there's someone who needs a fire extinguisher. That's not what we do. What we do is actually the opposite. So imagine a completely different scenario where you're walking down the street and you just happen to have a fire extinguisher in your hands. Someone runs up to you and say, "Oh my God, my house is on fire. Can you help me?" It's right there. And you look over there, and sure enough, the house is on fire. You go over there, you use your fire extinguisher, and you put it out. And they say, "Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. How how can I ever repay you? You know, let me do this. Here's some money that I have in my pockets. Please have them. You saved my house, you saved my family's life. Thank you." And not that you want the money, but it is a way for them to show the good gesture, to show the appreciation. And you say, "You're welcome. Thank you." And that's the difference. That's the difference. Because cold calling, we're talking about you're calling people who don't want what you have. But don't you think instead of doing that, we're helping people who are already looking for help. They're looking for some extra information. Maybe they needed to be talked through something because it is a major decision. They are investing in something that's significant. They would be more comfortable talking to somebody, to kind of walk them through it. And sometimes that's all they need. That's all they need. So who is a high ticket closer? A high ticket closer is a doer, a positive minded achiever, an aggressor. A high ticket closer is a compulsive, driven person with a desire to win, to succeed, to sell, to become the best, nothing less. Most people don't know how to communicate. Few know how to sell. Almost no one knows how to close. A high ticket closer doesn't need to rely on the government. By the way, is the government reliable? Do you think the government could save you, could rescue you? Do you think the government could take care of us by the time we retire? Most people will not retire. Most people will work till the day they die. Do you think a corporation could take care of us? No. Instead of a high-tech closer, we rely on our own skills. We are talking to a certain specific type of people who've already put up their hand and say, "I need help with this. I need help with this. Could you help me out with this?" Because they haven't been helped adequately enough yet. And you say, "Yeah, sure, we could do that. What do you need?" High ticket closing is getting someone to ask you for what you are selling and have them believe it was the idea. They're literally asking you, "Please, whatever you are selling, I am buying." Imagine you have the ability to be able to influence someone ethically, morally, to buy whatever that you're selling without being slimy, without being pushy, without being manipulative. They want to buy because it is the logical solutions. You want to sell to them because it is the logical solution that will help them solve their problems, add value to their lives. And by the time that you are done, they say, "Thank you. Thank you." What makes you a high ticket closer? A high ticket closer is someone who can and will, not just who can do it, but who will do things, do more than any salesperson ever dreamed about accomplishing. A high ticket closer is someone who knows how to warm up to people. They're likable. They know how to get clients feeling good about themselves. They have a way of building his or her clients up so much that they cannot possibly say no. Imagine you have the skill set to articulate your proposition that people simply cannot say no to. How would that affect your income? Everything that you do, how would that translate into every facet of your life and your career and your business? A high-tech closer is a special kind of elite professionals that people like, people get excited with, people believe in, and people feel special about. And a high-ticket closer is true to himself, true to herself, and convincing. Someone who is sincere and authentic. That's a closer. That's not a salesperson. That is a closer. Steve Jobs is a closer. Bill Gates is a closer. Warren Buffett is a closer. Elon Musk is a closer. They utilize their skills to communicate their value propositions. Doesn't matter selling a electronic car, they're selling a computer, they're selling why you should buy the stocks, why you should buy the software. It is the exact same skill set. Can you see how this skill set, once you master it, will help you in your investments, will help you in your business? As a result, being able to generate income you never thought of that you could even generate for your family, to the freedom to travel, even though we can't travel now, but when we could, to be able to work remotely from anywhere in the world, anywhere that you want to. In any shape you want to work from home, work from home. You want to work on a beach, you can work on a beach. So why high ticket closing is the highest paying profession, recession proof profession in the world? Reason number one, write this down: high profits due to low overhead. What do you need to do this? You need a computer. How many have a computer? How many have a phone? How many don't have a phone, but you could dial on the computer? Zoom, Skype, Google Hangout, you name it. You don't need fancy equipment, software, or office space. You don't have to spend money building websites, creating landing pages, running ads, driving traffic, buying software, building funnels. How many have done some of those things before? Are they costly? Yes or no? Do they cost a lot of money? Do they cost a lot of time? Your client is doing all of that for you, and I'll explain how. Reason number two, predictable and stable high income. You could potentially make 10K a month working with just one company and one entrepreneur, one business. You don't have to worry about getting new clients all the time. In fact, your clients are more worried about you leaving them. You are in command because you are in demand. Reason number three, you can start fast. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need credibility. You don't need to be well known. You don't need to have a massive social media following like myself. You don't need a massive marketing budget. In fact, you don't need a marketing budget. You are working with, you are adding value. You're partnering up with client. I'm going to teach you how to do that. Who has all of that? You're not selling you. Do you understand? You're not selling you. You are selling their offers. You're selling them. And this is why I have students, and I'm going to prove to you, who started making a great income in as little as 60 days, not going back to school for 4 years, not knowing why, getting that piece of paper, not getting into debt, not learning stuff that they would never apply, maybe even a fraction they would ever apply. No, we're aiming for functionality here, what we can use today. Not learning a bunch of stuff that we'll never use. How many of you hate that idea? Learning a bunch of stuff that you never use. Wasting time doing that homework, which in a few months you don't even remember what you've studied. That's not learning. That's called memorization, waste of time. Reason number four, freedom. This is truly a freedom-based business. What is freedom? Is you can work when you want, you dictate your hours, where you want, and how much you want. There should be no ceiling to your income. You see, when you have a high income job, there's a ceiling to your income because how much you earn is dictated by the company. Okay, this year I think we'll up your salary by 2%, 3%. You're making $13 an hour. Yeah, we'll give you $13.15. Why? Why? You never ever have to drag family and friends into some BS MLM deal. You only talk to warm prospects who actually want what you offer. They put up in their hand and say, hey, I want to know more about this. Like, I want to know a little bit more about this. Can you tell me a little bit more? That's it. And there's a very specific process that we do this. I'm going to give you the process, but there's a process, a very simple process that you utilize to do this. Reason number 5, no product creation, no service delivery needed. You don't need to create products because they're not your products. You don't need to deliver the products or fulfill the services after you close them because, again, you're not selling you. How many of you understand that? You're not selling you, you're selling other people's high ticket offers. People who already have high ticket offers, they have offers that need to be sold over the phone to qualified prospects. They need a high ticket closer to help bridge that gap. You don't need money to buy inventory or get products from Amazon and create any of the content. Once you have this high income skill, you're making that money, you're generating that 10K or more per month. Doesn't that put you in a better position if your desire is to start a scalable business online? Then maybe you want to get into e-com. Maybe you need to buy inventory. Now you don't need to get into debt. Would 10K make a difference in your life? Would 10K US make a difference in your life? And how much more freedom, how many more choices you will have, how much more leeway you will have when you get that income coming in that you are not worried, where money is no longer concerned. That if you want to invest, invest. If you want to put that aside for a rainy day, for the next crisis, which it will happen, you're ready. How many of you agree it's our duty, our responsibility to protect our family, to preserve what we have, to prepare for crisis? If we don't do it, then who's going to do it? Reason number 6, low stress and very low tech. You don't need to build a massive email list. In fact, you don't need a list at all. You don't need to learn complicated marketing techniques. And I love marketing. Dave loves marketing. I love marketing. Do that when you're at stage 2. When you're transitioning into scalable business, learn all the marketing stuff. But for now, we need to be practical. What do we need to be? We need to be practical in a time of crisis. Not the time to get fancy. We need to minimize our risk. And all you need to know is good telephone skills. It doesn't get any more low tech than this. I cannot make it more low tech than this. Who can handle this? Put in the chat. Can you handle this? No low tech. No email list. No complicated marketing technique. No funnel. No ads. No social media. None. Number 7, happier clients, because you are actually helping business owners personally and they get results. How many would agree that business owners need help now? That they need closers, ringmakers to help them pivot. And they need to pivot. And you're making them and yourself a lot of money every month. Everyone else in the company is an expense, but as a closer, you're a profit maker. And they will love you for it because you are saving the business. And in return, they're more than happy to provide you with a great income. You're not just saving the business, you're saving their family. You're saving the employee's family. You are the rainmaker. And in good times, business wants more high-paying clients. How many agree with that? In good times, business, they want more high-paying clients. But guess what? In bad times, what do they need? They don't just, it's not just want, they need more high-paying clients. This is a highly profitable, highly lucrative, stress-free, pandemic-proof profession that you can be very, very proud of. Versus when you do something else, maybe like some home-based business type opportunity thing, and you're selling like lotion, potion, and vitamin and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that. But I could tell you that my students are very proud when they tell people, "What do you do?" I'm a high-ticket closer. I close high-ticket deals. They save businesses. They help businesses pivot. They generate revenue. They have clients who send them gifts. Gifts. When was the last time someone sends you a gift for a job well done? Gifts, thanking them, appreciating them. Why? Because they have a skill that's in demand. They have a skill that is life changing. Life changing. Are you with me so far? Are you getting clarity? We've covered 2 secrets so far. Put in the chat. Are you enjoying this? Are you learning something new? Are you getting any aha moments? Why this is so powerful? Are you going to make some decisions differently? How you can allocate your time and resources? Doesn't matter if you want to learn more about high-tech closing or not. For those who want to, I'm going to train you. For those who don't, that's okay. It doesn't really matter. But this is what works. Secret number 3. So let's talk about money. How are you going to monetize this? How are you going to turn that skills into money? So there are 3 ways. How many ways? There are 3 ways you can profit from your high ticket closing skill. Way number 1, you could close as an employee. Companies are constantly looking for experienced closers and happy, more than happy to compensate you for your closing skills. So it could be a salary plus a bonus structure. It could be a salary plus a commission. It could also be a purely commission based, and they would pay more for that because you are getting paid based on what you could close. You're getting paid based on results, not just time. Number 2, you could close for your own business. How many of you have your own business right now? So imagine, what if you could double your closing ratio? How much more money would you make? And what if you could double your price? I know it sounds so crazy. I'm gonna come on, Dan, with the crisis, with everything like that. How could we even double our price? I'm gonna prove to you. If you have the right solution to the right audience, and they can see the value, price is not an issue. It's always the values that's the issue. Hypothetically, if you could double your price, what if, just what if, you could double your price? How much more money would you make? If you could cut down your closing time by half, instead of doing 2, 3, 4, 5 follow-up calls, you're being the annoying pest instead of a welcome guest. What if you cut that into one single phone call? How many more sales would you make? And I teach my students the one call methodology. Most of the high ticket sales we close, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, one single phone call in less than 60 minutes. Wouldn't that be incredible? And it's not magic. It's not magic. It's about the method. It's about the methodology. It's not magical. And what if you could get rid of some of the clients from hell that you have? Why do you have them, by the way? Why do you even keep them? Because you weren't so sure, right? That, oh, if I lose their clients, yeah, I don't like them. They're kind of a pain in the ass, but what should I do? But if you have more clients coming in who appreciate you, who cherish what you do, would you still keep these clients from hell? You wouldn't, correct? so you could close for your own business. He's a perfect example. Thanks to Dan's teaching, I'm now as of today at $71,500 in gross sales with 75% profit margin. 75%. I will hit 100K this month. This month. All this was accomplished after 3 calls. 9 hours. 9 hours. Week 3, 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6. I joined at week 4. I used the techniques taught in those 3 classes. No script. He didn't even use everything I teach. He used a fraction of what I teach and generated over 100K a month. It's skill that he could use again and again for the rest of his life. Just think about it. Think about it if you have the power to close premium products at premium prices with one single phone call. No script. Natural. In fact, simple. Very simple. People make it way too complicated. This is simple. Do you understand? This is simple and it works. And it works. He's admin. I've closed more than $200,000 for my own business in less than 90 days. Less than 90 days. $200,000 sales that admin could not have closed if it wasn't for his high-ticket closing skill. How many agree $200,000 it's a decent amount of money. It's quite a bit of money. For 90 days, not so bad. Right? Not so bad. If you're selling any of your own products or services, the ability to close high ticket sales on the phone will easily double, triple, or even 10 times your income. If you are an investor, you want to get better deal, not just finding them, sorting them, sifting them, and separating them. Yes, but we also need to close them. How do you get a better deal, get better terms? Have them feel good about the purchase, about the sale. Closing skills. It makes you a more savvy investor. It makes you a better negotiator. It makes you a better deal maker. Now, how much would that be worth? There's very little relationship, very little between being good at what you do and getting paid. How many of you know people who are very good at what they do, yet they don't get paid a whole lot? Put in the chat. There's no relationship between being good at what you do and getting paid. There is a huge, tremendous, massive relationship between being good at what you do and being able to close and getting paid. The ability to close separates the haves and the have-nots. Yes, there are people with talent. Yes, there are people with abilities. Yes, there are people with products and services. Good products and services. It doesn't matter if no one knows and no one buys. They will be the best kept secrets. How many of you are tired of being the best kept secret? Even you know you've got something special. You want to bring that to the world. We can't do that unless we know how to articulate our value, unless we know how to communicate in a way that people will listen and respond. Everything that comes out of your mouth, either you're attracting people to do what you want them to do, or you're repelling people that they're not doing what you want them to do. Does that make sense? Number 3, you could close for companies, entrepreneurs, and this is the model that I teach. Pay attention, please. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. So write this down. I'm going to walk you through the entire model, what I teach to thousands and thousands of my students now in over 151 countries. Doesn't just work in Canada, doesn't just work in US, doesn't just work in Australia, doesn't just work in New Zealand, doesn't just work in UK. It works in 151 countries. I would challenge anyone who say they could teach a skill that could work globally. Globally. So let's run through some numbers. So let's say your client the business owner that you're closing for, has a $5,000 high ticket offer, and let's say your commission is 10%. Is that fair? You close a $5,000 sale, a 10% commission. So you make $500 per sale. And let's say your closing ratio, using my proven methodology, is 20%. So what does that mean? It means that you close 1 out of 5. You talk to 5 people. How many? 5 qualified prospects a day. And all the leads are provided to you. You are not doing any cold calling. You're not dialing for dollars and just strangers. No. All the leads are provided to you. You talk to 5 people a day. You close 1 out of 5. So that means what? You make 1 sale a day. That's $500 per day. How many of you know people who work very hard? They don't even make $500 a week. Yes. And let's say you choose to work 4 days a week. Just 4 days. You take 3 days off. That means you are making $2,000 a week. That's $8,000 a month with no business expense whatsoever. Now here's the best part. You've just made your client, who you're closing for, $80,000 in sales because your commission is 10%. So the question, is the client happy? Yes or no? Is he going to keep you around? You bet. This is why it is stable and predictable. It's stable and predictable. I want to show you this example. I want you to pay attention to the date. It's April 19th. This is happening right now in the middle of a crisis. This is not last year. This is not 2 years ago. This is happening right now during this coronavirus. My students closing sales. I've closed $21,976 for a business account in 1 week, assuming it's 10%. That's 2,000. Let's say round it up, $2,100 that he made with 1 single week of work. How many of you wouldn't mind earning $2,000 in a single week, working from home, part-time? With nothing more than a phone. In fact, with nothing more than a computer. Stephen, boom. This is from last year. But I still want to show it to you because I want you to pay attention to the commission that they get. Boom. Close my first influencers. They've never tried phone selling. 50% commission. 50, not, I'm being conservative here. We're doing 10. But Stephen got 50% commission on a $2,500 to $5,000 package. All my students, they refer me as Sifu because of my martial art background, because of my martial art. Sifu means mentor in martial art, just like sensei in karate. Jerry, April 24th. This week, boom, $2,500 closed during class time. He was closing while I was teaching him in class. By the time the class is done, he was closing deal. He was sharing his boom during class. Is this effective? Does this work? Is this practical? Is this something that you can use right now? Not wait 4 years, right now. And here's what gets very exciting. And I know it is almost too good to be true, and I will prove to you why it is not too good to be true. In fact, it happens every single day within our community. Let's say your client has a $10,000 offer, and I have students now closing $25K offer, $50K offer, $100K offer, $1 million offer. But let's say 10,000. Can we work with this? Stay with me. 10K offer. And let's say now your commission is, instead of 10%, is 15%. Now, why is it 15%? Because could you get a little bit better with time, with practice, with training? Could you go back and negotiate with the business owner and say, hey, I've produced multiple six figures for your company. Would it be okay? Would you be comfortable giving me a slight bump instead of paying me 10%? How about 15%? And they say yes. Of course they would. You're generating multiple six figures. And now you're making $1,500 a sale. Still one phone call. And your closing ratio, as you practice, if you practice, would you get better? If you're coachable, would you get better? We're not talking that much better, which is a little bit better, from 20% to now 25%. So that means instead of closing 1 out of 5, you're closing one out of 4. Is that doable? Yes or no? Is that doable for you? And now you talk to 8 qualified prospects a day, and all the leads are provided to you. All the leads are provided to you. So now instead of closing 1 sales a day, you're closing 2 sales a day. Well, how much are you making? How much are we talking about? $3,000, not a week, not a month, a day. I'm not saying you're going to get here overnight. What I'm saying is through training, it's doable. You work 5 days a week because you don't mind the hustle. You're like, hey, Dan, I'm stuck at home. I got nothing to do. Might as well generate some more income. Put aside some cash for the rainy day to take care of your family. I want some, or also maybe for future investments. Because are there good deals after this is over in the marketplace? Bargains you can pick up for pennies on the dollars. So $15,000 a week, that is $60,000 a month, or $720,000 a year. Here's the question. What if you don't do that? What if you do half of that? What if you do 20% of that? What is your cost of running the business? Tell me. 0. What is your risk? 0. And you know what's the kicker? Here's a punchline. What if this is in US? How many would like the idea that you get paid in US dollars, working with someone in US, and then you actually spend it in Canadian dollars, pay your bills in Canadian dollars? Almost 100% of my revenue are in US dollars. I have a tiny percentage that are in Canadian, but almost all my revenue, all my income are in US. Can you see how this is possible? How would a skill like that change your life? They have the ability to be able to help people that needs to be helped, to help businesses, to really stimulate the economy. I don't believe giving people money, a couple grand, that is going to solve their problem. You know that, and I know that. That doesn't help them. It doesn't help anybody. What more people need are skill sets that they could generate income on their own. So they're not relying on the government to give them a handout. How many times could the government give them a handout? The government don't have money on their own. The government's in debt. And here's an amazing story, and I want to read it aloud with you because it's very, very special. Boom, I just don't know how to describe my feeling for whatever things that happen for me right now, right? For the longest time, ever since my last post, I would like to share my closing journey online and offline. The purpose of this is not just to share my recent boom, but rather to inspire our fellow brothers and sisters to have their heads up in spite of having uncertainty in the pandemic that the whole world is facing right now. Recently, my own business over here in Singapore was badly affected due to coronavirus. I've lost almost 70 to 80% of my existing clients. Who would have thought of that? Seriously. And I thought my current business was one of the safest, but I was totally wrong. I was confused and lost at the time. Long story short, after doing all those, eventually I've landed a Switzerland company as a sales consultant, as a high-tech closer specialized in financial market product and self-development. And what I did was simply submit a simple video, and I'm going to teach you this process. Influencer closed. Package deal, 10K upsell, a 10K deal, up to 15K with a commission of 15%, exactly what I share with you. Mostly inbound call, quite warm. And I was given in total of 23 leads. I closed 5 of them. 5 out of 23. Are we talking about 1 out of 100? 1 out of 200? No. 5 out of 23. Boom. I may not be fluent in English, but after all, it's all about my experience. As long as I could help them solving their problems by asking the right question. So right now, I no longer have to worry about my current business anymore because I do have my closing skill that are able to consistently generate revenue streams of income. I'm very grateful to have a blessing in disguise that had happened for me and my family. So I want you to think about this for a moment. What if someone in this scenario doesn't have the high income skill? What if someone lost almost 70-80% of the existing clients without being able to pivot, without a skill set to pivot? All they could do is hope. And is hope a strategy? Is hope practical? Does hope work? Secret number 4. High-tech closing is the easiest money that you will ever make. It is simple. This is not complicated. How many of you are getting this, by the way? This is not, is this too complicated that you don't get it? You don't get how the numbers work? Like, do I need to spend hours and hours explaining to you, or you kind of got it in minutes? I believe if someone cannot explain their business model on a napkin, they don't have a business model. I can draw this on a napkin and give it to you, and you would get it. What you need is a skill set being able to execute. But that is the business model. I'm giving you the entire business model, not bits and pieces of it. That is the model that every single one of my students uses every day in the marketplace right now in the middle of a crisis. Your average business owners are busy. They are fighting for their lives. They're fighting in their businesses. They're creating products. They're delivering the services. They're creating content. They're running ads. They're writing emails, right? They're doing product launches. They're making videos. They're managing the team. They're posting on social media. I could go on, but you get the idea. And these successful entrepreneurs know that they need to be doing high ticket sales because it is the only way that they will make a profit, that they know they are leaving hundreds, if not millions of dollars on the table, and they don't have the time or the ability to close these sales themselves because they are busy. In fact, it is bad positioning. Imagine if you are the owner of the business and every single time you have to be the one that's on the phone with the prospect, nickel and diming and talking about terms and all that. Can you see how that is bad positioning? Isn't it better? Isn't it wiser? Isn't it more intelligent to have someone in between, a closer, to have that buffer in between, to position the owner properly? In fact, they have the owner focus on what's important for the business. They haven't got a clue where to find in high-ticket closers, and they definitely don't know how to train and turn them into high-ticket closers. They have an advertising budget because I teach you only work with players with money. We are not going to work with people who don't have a budget, who cannot generate leads. We want to work with people who could generate leads, who could generate those warm leads coming in so we could close. We could do that 1% that makes all the difference in the business. Here's some simple posts that I found online. Business owners looking for high-tech closers. Would you like to earn a fantastic income comparable to what doctors make by helping people achieve their dreams, all while working from home from anywhere in the world? Would you like to be on the phone with pre-sold prospects every day who are eager to speak with you? Would you like to earn $500 per sale or more with no cold calling? Here's another one. Would you like to earn $500 or more per enrollment? Be handed at least 5 red hot pre-sold inbound leads, meaning they come in. You don't call them every day to talk to with zero cold calling. On these numbers, the numbers I've just shared with you, are these realistic? We have more. We are hiring. One to lead sales and an established and growing startup. We have over 100 customers. No SaaS. We are a service business, 5-figure deals, 30 team members around the world with a proven sales process that is ready to take to the next level. In fact, look, I want you to pay attention to the next paragraph. Know someone that might be a fit, tag them. The best candidates come from referrals. If you refer someone that's a fit and leads to a full interview, I would pay you. I would PayPal you $50. Can you see if John is motivated? They would pay someone a referral just to find them a high ticket closer. Hiring an enrollment coach. Ladies, do you want to earn $5,000 to $10,000 a month from your home, office, kitchen table, in your pajamas, helping people reclaim their health? By the way, if you are a lady, female closer is in demand in the marketplace right now. Bar none. There is so much demand in the marketplace for someone who will close in that market. Huge demand. Huge demand. And that's why like I have so many of my students kicking ass in as a female closer. I call them Wonder Woman closer because they are fearless, unstoppable, incredible. This is basic business, isn't it? There's a lot of demand in the marketplace and little supply. There's a fortune to be made. And what the crisis did, the crisis creates massive demand for high-tech closers that can make it rain. In good times, companies want more customers. In bad times, companies need more customers. This is the time they are even more willing to offer a big commission. This is a time they are willing to be more flexible. This is a time where they are looking. They need sales. They cannot survive. How many of you agree a company without sales cannot survive long term? Walt. Hey, HCC family, April 13th. April this month. I just have to say how grateful I am to have this high-tier closing skill, especially during this particular hard times with COVID-19. I've lost about 72% of my clients in my brick and mortar business, but thankfully, I'll be working with a new influencer and start doing live calls from tomorrow. 5K, 7K, 15K packages with 20% commission. I'm so nervous. Is it okay to be nervous in the beginning? Yes. We're human beings. And I'm excited to put my skills to use. Wish me luck. Large. Boom, boom, boom. Now I want you to pay very close attention. If I could have your attention on a date. April 2nd, beginning of the month. Boom, boom, boom. March sales over 10K. COVID-19 ain't stopping me. April sales predicted double. I also want to say I hope all my brothers and sisters are safe. Okay. Stay home and stay safe. Now is the time to top up your knowledge and grab every possible sale. So that's in the beginning of the month, April 2nd. You can already see the trend. What happens by the end of the month? April 23rd. Boom, 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 over $100,000 in closed sales. This is the best month ever. Let me ask you a question. How many people out there you think are having best month ever? Or are they having their worst month ever? working on a minimum 20% commission rate. You could see the numbers. This is a screenshot happening right now during the virus crisis. This is work. These are real people producing real results, delivering real value. No gimmicks, no tricks. Secret number 5. You don't need to be an expert at high ticket sales. So you may be thinking, well, Dan, okay, I get the model. I can see there's a demand, but do I need to be an expert at sales? I've never done sales before. Experience is not necessary. Here's why. All the traditional sleazy sales techniques, they don't work when it comes to high ticket sales anyway. They might work if you're selling like at a dollar store. They don't work when you're talking to a more sophisticated client. It could be B2C, business to consumer, or B2B, business to business. No, you never ever, in fact, I forbid you from being a fast talking, slimy salesperson. There are very, very specific strategies how this is done. And I'll teach you, for those who want to, how to be a powerful, confident, high ticket closer without going through the school of hard knocks, without all the trial and error. You do not have to figure things out. We have done the heavy lifting for you. In fact, I have already done all the groundwork, all the grunt work for you. This has been refined, perfected over many, many, many students, many seasons, and thousands of students. I'm only going to give you what works. You don't need to learn anything. You don't have to know anything about sales. In fact, I prefer you don't, because sometimes I can see people come in and I've been doing sales for a certain amount of years. Now I have to correct all the bad habits. We will provide you with the script. We will role play with you like this to make sure that you get it. I'm going to teach you how to get contracts, high ticket contracts, if that's what you want to do. I believe closers are made, closers are not born. Closers are not born. There's no one saying that, oh, you're a closer. I wasn't a closer. I was just an immigrant boy who didn't know anything about anything. Kathy, yesterday, I just took a screenshot from my community. This is from yesterday. Yet another new milestone to celebrate. Almost 10K Canadian in the past 2 weeks. I just earned working, not quite full time, not even full time. That I would have worked full time over a month in my previous high income career, even from before it was considered high income. Very, very excited, especially during COVID. Partly some of the fear is settled and an increase my skill and presentation. Just keep moving forward. How many of you could see Kathy is taking charge of her own destiny, taking charge of her own life? COVID-19 didn't stop her. Best month ever, making more than her previous high income career. Who would like to do that? Put in the chat. And it's not for everybody. For those who are hungry, for those who want it, for those who are willing to pivot, who are not stuck in an old idea that's going extinct, thinking that all the things will go back to normal. Things won't go back to normal. How many of you think things won't go back to normal? Do you think in 2 months, 3 months, all the businesses will reopen, all the jobs will be available again, and everybody back to work, and everybody's happy, and no one loses money, no one loses jobs? Do you think that's what's happening? No, no. And we can't afford to think like that. It's a very typical high ticket sales funnel. I won't spend too much time. A business owner running a Facebook ads. How many seen those Facebook ads? Driving into a webinar. Not that much different from this. At the end of the webinar, someone schedules a call. book a call with you as a high ticket closer, and you close those sales, and that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. The expert, the business owner, is generating the leads, putting the prospects through a series of trust building steps. You never cold call anybody. You'll only be talking to prospects who have gone through a funnel, the funnel that your business owner client built, and have filled an application form. You will only talk to people who are pre-interested and pre-qualified. Put yourself in the prospect's shoes. Someone saw an ad. They've watched a webinar. They stay till the end of the webinar, and then they go fill an application form. They book a time with you. How many of you agree that's a pretty qualified prospect? They put up their hand and say, yeah, I want to know more. And all you have to do is follow my system and don't deviate from that and get paid. Mark Logan. In my last update, I shared my goal for March was to hit 50K in closed sales by the end of the month. I took a month to reflect, and I am happy to say, boom, mission accomplished. $58,036 in sales. Attention, 100K, you are next. Closing is simple because your clients, successful entrepreneurs or influencers, know that they need to make high ticket sales because that's where their money is. They do not make real money until someone like yourself, like my student, gets on the phone and close those high ticket sales. It's not about you. They already have a reputation. They already have an offer. They already have a list. They have an advertising budget. And the skill that you bring to the table produces real results for them. They can't be bothered doing this. They have no time of doing this. They are busy in their own businesses. They don't have the time. They don't have the inclination. They don't have the ability to do this for themselves. And they jump. They jump at the opportunity for others to do it for them. Can you see that I'm using conservative numbers? I'm using 10%, 15%. Can you see my students are getting higher percentage than just typically 10, 15%, some 20, some 25. I like to use bad numbers. I like to be conservative. I like to under promise and over deliver. And you now know why it is absolutely critical to develop your high income skill for your long term financial survival, for you and your family, the wealth triangle, how you could recession proof, crisis proof your income and your finances and your wealth, and why high ticket closing is one of the most high paying professions in the world. I've also shared with you the 3 ways you can profit from your high ticket closing skill. And more than that, I've also shared with you how high ticket closing is the easiest money that you'll ever make and why you don't need to be an expert. In fact, I prefer you're not an expert at sales to get started. So here's a problem that I have. Every single week, I get dozens and dozens of requests from entrepreneurs and companies asking, sometimes begging for closers. And demand has gone up even more significantly since COVID-19. That's why I'm sharing with you the statistics. There's more now, more demand now than ever. And here's why I'm conducting this training, this webinar for you, not just share with you my business model, but how you and I, we could lock arms, how we could work together, and how I could train you if I accept you. So I have 2 options. I could start taking on these clients, building infrastructure, renting a massive office, what people would call a typical sales floor, hire lots of employees, and I already have lots of employees. And so, or another option is I could certify a group of people that I trust, my students, and give them the skills and transfer my skills to you and make them high ticket closers and give them these contracts and get a small piece of the action. It makes the business more scalable. Does that make sense? We are creating the next Uber for closers. The next Uber for closers. And one of the businesses that we have is closers.com. And now we've trained students in over 151 countries, thousands and thousands of students. You've just met some of them. And my challenge is this, and I'm very vulnerable here. As the founder of Closers.com, I can't serve more companies and build a global platform without competent closers on the platform. Because frankly, most salespeople suck. They're not good. They can't produce results. So that's why I need to train students to be able to do this. And in return, they're able to have a high income skill that would produce a great income for them. And they can learn this skill in a matter of weeks to be able to work remotely using the platform to be able to work from home and not needing a job ever. I'm looking for an elite group of men and women determined to pivot and become the highest paid closers in the world. Who wants to pivot? In fact, who believes you need to pivot during this time? In the next 60 days, I am going to certify an elite group of ambitious people in high ticket closer certification program. I am going to take you under my wings and teach you the fastest path that I know of to six figures as a high ticket closer. I will be personally working with these serious players and students and transform them into high ticket closers. And we only open for enrollment for only a few times a year because it is a 7-week program. You get 7 weekly classes with me walking you through step by step, ABC, 1, 2, 3, my complete high ticket closers course curriculum step by step. There's a set date and there's an end date. And we're starting next season very, very quickly, very soon. You also get templates, scripts, checklists for every class to help you follow along so you take action and implement. And I suggest you make the class live, and it's going to be in Pacific time, once a week. If you absolutely cannot make it from time to time, you miss one or two, you will still get a recording of all the lessons. You could go back to them, watch them. They'll be on your phone, in your home, on your TV. You could revisit them, and I suggest you watch them a couple of times. Currently, entrepreneurs, they pay me $10,000 an hour for my time. $10,000 an hour for my time. And I don't even want a 10K because I'm in a position where I don't have a lot of time. I would rather serve a community. And I found a way to do that where I could take the value of what I have and charge so little, just basically cover my expense, not a whole lot more, where I know my students are going to get the support and the help that they need, that I could transfer a skill to you that is sustainable, that's transferable, something that you could use for the rest of your life. And by the end of the training, you'll also be certified by my company, something that you could display very proudly, something that you know from now on you have a skill that you could count on. And here's what some of my students have to say: Leon, the moment you realize the last 2 weeks with Sifu, me, brought much more value to my life than this certificate from a $30,000 program to prove to people I don't like. This is from a Wharton school. Leon is saying that his HTC certificate is worth more than this. Christina, this certificate, the HTC certificate, means more to me than my law degree. Is this life changing? Is this transformational? I'll let you be the judge. This is not some BS online program where you get a bunch of stupid videos. This is an implementation. What is it? An implementation program. This is a unique opportunity to be mentored by me personally and work with me side by side. And I have ready to go contracts for my most qualified students, not a guarantee. The only guarantee that I could provide, that you could provide to yourself, is your skill. But if you are good and you are diligent and you are coachable, I have ready to go contracts, because that's my business model. That's how I actually generate revenue for my company. And it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. This is a very, very unique opportunity. It's going to take some work. You can hear at 7 o'clock in Vancouver, you can hear the crews honking. This is where we celebrate and cherish and acknowledge all the medical health workers. You can hear people cheering, you can hear people making music, you can hear people singing from their balcony. Beautiful, beautiful. It's not for you if you're scared to talk to people on the phone. We have to go outside of your comfort zone a little bit. But isn't it also time for you to fix this confidence issue? So we're talking about a weekly class, a minimum of 2 hours. Actually, they are more than 2 hours of direct teaching from me. $140,000 worth of value if you were an outsider. When you take action right now during this webinar, the investment is not $140,000. It's not even $100,000. It's not $50,000. It's not $25,000. It is not even $10,000. A total value of $140,000. Your investment is only $24.95. And for those who need help, you could even take advantage of the 3 easy payments option. Not a whole lot more. Cover my expenses, cover my team's expenses to be able to run the community, to support you, to take care of your needs. I want this to be more accessible, especially times like this. I could easily offer this at $10,000. Wouldn't be an issue. But I want it to be more affordable. Number one, people need a skill to pivot. Number two, companies need closers to pivot. It's a win for the company, it's a win for my students, it's a win for everyone. For everyone. So you're about to get a link. When you do so, you could go there and apply and take advantage of this opportunity. If this deep down 100% is something that you want to do, I believe if I need to convince you, probably you shouldn't do it. I don't want to convince you of why you need a high income skill. I don't want to convince you why you need a pivot. This is something that you want to do. You want to have that skill set. You want to have that safety. You want to have that security. And you don't want to rely on a government. You don't want to rely on a company to provide. And you know this is what you want to do. Go to www.crisisproofskill.com. www.crisisproofskill.com. And I have some bonuses, I have some gifts. Stay with me. I want to give you as well. So stay till the end. Would this apply if you are an investor? Could you see how you could use your closing skill if you are in real estate? In fact, if you're in any kind of investment, if you are an entrepreneur, what makes me an effective entrepreneur, an effective CEO? Because of my ability to close. Every single day we are closing. Every single day you're closing the customers. Every single day you're closing your team to inspire, to motivate them, to empower them, to lead them. Every single day you are closing your vendors, why they should give you better terms. You're closing the banks, why they should loan you money. It is a learnable, transferable, sustainable skill. It's not magic. It's not talent. It's just like swimming. You can learn it with the right coach. Apply now. www.crisisproofskill.com. And your success is my priority. 60 days, 90 days, 100 days from now. Love to see your posts in the community. Say, hey, Dan, being a high ticket closer changed my life forever. I now could work remotely and generate a full-time income without relying on the company, without relying on the government. This is how we're going to get out of this. Not hope, not wish, not wishful thinking. Skill. Skill is what is going to get out of this funk, this economy. And it is a new economy, and things will never be the same. And unfortunately, for those, you could see the 40% of Canadians who are still thinking about the old way. They'll be surprised. What happens? So imagine the ones without high income skills. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Danny Lin. Danny met me when about 2 years ago, season 5. And he used to share the boom. By the way, English is not her first language. In fact, her English is not that good at all. She's in the real estate business. I don't remember this is my 8, 9, 10 booms, but it's my boom time. Time flies, 2019. At the time she just started studying with me, I've been really busy on my big projects. Small boom close a real estate deal, just connect a deal to a realtor. Realtor pay me $6,750. Man, that's good money. Boom. You want to hear my crazy deal? So crazy and not a real estate deal. People pay me cash, a bag of cash. How many would love to get a bag of cash, right? I was like, man, what should I do with cash, right? Ha ha ha. The guy said, thank you very much, Danny, and pay me $120,000 in check and $130,000 in cash. Well, I cannot show you all the cash. We just show you like a small pile. 250K. Wow. Very juicy commission. I just so love to close big deals. I just sit, smile, have fun. Closing becomes my habits. How many would agree that's a pretty decent check? Not bad for someone learning this. Not bad for someone for which English is not her first language. And not just that. A few months later, Danny Lin. It's Danny Lin again. Are you ready for the exciting news? By the way, how many of you could tell her English is not that good? Look at the grammar. I'm very happy. Just like a 3-year-old kid jumping up and down. Closed my first boom, my real estate project, 26 townhomes. So for 1.95 million, my net profit, $1.25 million. Then he made over $2.2 million USD from what I taught her. Less than 2 years. Am I saying you're going to make that kind of money? Absolutely not. She is exceptional. She's coachable. She implements. No. How much you make is up to you. I could show you the doors. You have to be one that walks through it. And for those who take action now, I want to give you some gifts. How many of you like some gifts? How many of you don't even need gifts? You know that just the skill, the 7 week alone, it's more than worth the investment that will pay you back again and again. But you don't mind to have some gifts. So gift number 1, you will have access to our top secret underground platform where you have thousands and thousands of other HTC, your high tech closer students, my students, to role play with, chat with, and just hang out. This is our secret sauce. It's one thing to learn it, it's a whole other thing to practice it. Without practice, you're not going to sharpen your skill. Why my students get better results than anybody else? Because I'm going to teach you something. You're going to practice it, you're going to drill it, and you're going to come back to class. I'm going to teach you something. You're going to practice it. This is not going to be one of those things where you invest, and then you never look at the videos, you never practice. It just becomes a file, a folder. Waste of time, waste of money. No, we're not going to do. I'm not going to let that happen to you. We're going to role play. You're going to role play with my students. In fact, you're going to role play with the students going through the same journey. This is why I always have a set date and an end date with my program. I want you to be there live, going through the journey together with other students in the same season. Bonus number 2, the best way to listen, to learn how to close high ticket sales is to actually listen to real live role plays and closing calls. What do those calls sound like? Those $5, $6, $8, $10,000 sale, $20,000 sale. The tonality, the languaging, the words, the phrases. Well, how do you do it? I'm going to give you the recording of actual role plays and closing calls, easily worth $5,000 worth of value. How many like that idea to listen to actual calls, what it sounds like, to learn from that, and you could pick up those distinctions. Bonus number 3. Unlike so many, this is new, unlike so many other programs, what I notice is people get confused. You give them a lot of materials and people just feel overwhelmed, and an overwhelmed mind doesn't do anything, doesn't take action. So what I created is something very special. I call that your first steps to total financial confidence. The minute you are in the community, you will know exactly what to do step by step, no guessing, no try to figure things out. You will know step 1, you do this, step 2, step 3. Before the class starts, you're learning, you're mastering your skill. In fact, I have students who told me, forget the 7-week, forget the role play, forget the recordings, forget everything else, just this alone. The pre-training, not even the official training, the pre-training is easily worth the $2,500. It is a joke. It is a joke. So bonus number 3, you'll be getting the blueprint, the first steps, exactly what to do. How do you like that idea? To have total clarity, no guessing, exactly what you need to do. Yes? Number 4, you have lifetime access to our closed door Facebook community. This is what makes everything work. It's one thing to go through a journey. How many have done that before? You go you do an online course, you kind of log in and you look at the videos, and there's no accountability, there's no support, there's no community, right? Every single time you want to make a change, and this is for some I know is going to be a big change, a career shift, that you will need all the support that you need. And you have a global community. You're gonna meet some of your best friends you don't even know yet. I promise you. The minute you go into the community, the minute you log on to Facebook, you have never seen anything like this. You've never seen an energy like this. You've never seen a more positive, uplifting group like mine. I know, because I created it. It's very, very special. That is not duplicatable for anybody else. The minute you say hi, you introduce yourself, you would be blown away how welcoming they are. Words cannot describe. Words cannot describe. I see it again and again. People are shocked. People are any new members, they are shocked. And you will be shocked. Even I tell you, you will still be shocked when you go into the Facebook group. Instead of looking at people's cat, looking at like pranks, things that are not useful, not helpful, doesn't develop you personally, professionally. Seeing the booms every single day when you log in, all the success stories that you see, all those inspirational posts, you will see that every day. You see it so much you get sick of it. Every single day I log in, I don't get sick of it because it jazz me up. It floats my boat. I comment, I interact with my students every day, every day. So it's the bonuses. Don't forget the 7 weeks, just the bonuses, some of the additional training. Just that alone, we're talking about a $36,997 worth of value. It's a no-brainer for those who want it, for those who are willing to use it. Crisisproofskill.com. Crisisproofskill.com. Dave, is there anything you want to add? Then I want to go into some questions as well. I'm going to stay here for some questions because I know you have questions.
Awesome, you guys. So if you have any questions for Dan, now's the time to put them in the question box. We'll open up for Q&A in just a couple of seconds. Dan, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. Yeah, this has been great. And you guys, it really is. It really comes down to having a high value skill. And if this resonates with you, you can see how this applies for not just real estate, but for being able to pivot, being able to do what you need to do when you need to do it to put the bacon on the table for you and your family. So again, Dan, thank you so much. And we got some questions coming in here. Let's see if we got. So Dan, you open for a couple of questions here. It's kind of nitpicky stuff, but people are asking, is this in Canadian dollars or US dollars?
Almost all my revenue is in US dollars. So this is in US dollars, but at the same time, I'm going to teach you how to get paid in US dollars. Who likes that idea?
Who likes that idea? All right, perfect. All right. Any specific questions about the whole concept here, you guys? Now's the time. Or any other questions that you might have for Dan? I think it was pretty complete there, my friend. All right.
And I have a couple insights I'll still want to share.
Yeah,
Is
go ahead, my friend.
I do think that sometimes I get this question, well, Dan, I'm just struggling. I'm broke. Can you train me now and can I pay you back later? Here's what I've learned, and I've trained tens of thousands of students, that when there's no skin in the game, there's no game. Whatever you pay attention. Even if you use a fraction of what I teach, you'll notice that I notice a fraction of what I teach. You'll be able to make back that money again and again and again and again. If, to me, think about it, if that few K makes a difference, if that's truly a struggle for you, and I get it, I've been there. I was driving a Ford Escort. That was my car for $2,500. There was a time $2,500 was a lot of money for me. The question is, if that is a lot of money for you, when it's time to fix it, so that's not a lot of money for you. If you're committed, you apply. And I have students who make back that money before the class is over. I'm not saying that's you. I'm saying it happens. It happens. And if you need to take advantage of the 3-pay options, you could feel free to do that. Feel free to do that. So now you have a choice. You have a choice. This may not be the first training webinar that you've been on, but what if this is what you've been waiting for? This is what you've been seeking. The one skill that would change everything for you. The things will never be the same. So you have a choice. Life stays the same. You could either take the information that I've given you, forget all about it, forget the trend, forget the job loss, forget what's happening in the marketplace right now, forget high ticket sales, forget the demanded marketplace, forget the skill, forget every other concepts I've presented to you, and stay stuck where you are. You keep chasing the next shiny object, buying the next thing, reading those books and going to another seminar, attending the next webinar, wasting your life and hoping that someday your life will be different. I was there. I was that person. I know the frustration without the skills, or life would never be the same. What if you could join an entirely new industry that is crisis proof, recession proof, and no one knows about it? What if you could sell services that needs to be sold for $1,000, that pays $1,000 to $2,000 or so commission per sale? What if I told you warm inbound leads would be provided? You only need to close 5 to 10 sales a week. That's it, a couple a week to make 6-figure income. What if I told you there's virtually zero competition? And what if there was no experience or credibility required? Why? Because it's not about your offer. It's not about your list. It's not about your brand. You're selling other people's high ticket offers. And what if you could do this and work from anywhere in the world, work from home, work when you're traveling, or not work when you're not traveling, or not work when you're traveling? What if there was zero paperwork to be filled out? What if you could be your own boss? Not a retail business, but be your own boss. Work your own hours. Make as little or make as much money as you want. Depends on your time, depends on your commitment. And what if you could make big money if you're starting on the side? And what if you get to work alongside with me and my team? It works. This works. It works better than anything that I've ever done. Anything that I've ever done. And we built a global company because of it. And we are looking for closers. I want to train you. I want to transfer my skill to you, the very skill that changed my life. I'm only giving you the skill set, but the confidence to communicate, the confidence to express yourself, not needing a job, not counting on the government to profit from this pandemic. Few things would happen in a few months, a year, 2 years. This whole thing goes away. You have a few choices. You could say, you know what, okay, kind of go back to normal and kind of maybe you can still find something to generate income, or you prepare yourself to take advantage of it. Now you put yourself in a position to truly profit and prosper, to do the investments that you want to do, right? To help the people you want to help. It's life changing. So that's my invitation. Crisisproofskill.com, and ask yourself the question, if it's not this, then what? And if it's not you, then who? If you're serious, you're coachable, I will do everything in my power to train you, mentor you, just like I've done for so many of my students. This is it. This is the most valuable skill that I could give you. So crisisproofskill.com.